oppression. We have spent countless hours pondering over the true purpose of education and defining our own educational philosophies. We have had to confront our own selves through the process of writing racial autobiographies, and we've had to learn to work through challenges and disagreements when confronted with privilege and working across lines of both real and perceived differences. I want to honor the difficulty of these experiences and recognize that the work has not been easy. I want to acknowledge that we all have grown and developed through our work here at SPA. I can see that, you all can see that, and I'm sure the people who know and care for us most can see how we have changed. But at the same time, I am highly aware of the fact that this was the easy part. Here, we have been held by our peers, held by our professors, held by the walls of this intellectual space. However, the world is not going to hold us with such grace and care. We have to be prepared to stand with conviction in the face of forces trying to hold us back from realizing our vision of an equitable society. We have to be prepared to acknowledge that resistance is a natural response to change, and so therefore we must be persistent. We have to stop taking everything so personally and recognize that the opportunity for growth is sometimes the result of experiencing emotional pain. We have to let go of our desire to be in control and humble ourselves to ask for help. It's impossible to go at this work alone. We have to learn to balance the use of our voice to be advocates and also being able to listen empathetically for understanding. We must constantly engage in this self-work so that regardless if we are a window or a mirror in any given moment, we are honoring representation through our positionality. In our efforts to be revolutionary in every decision we make, we must consider the past and present context in which we are operating so that we are not a mechanism contributing to the perpetual pendulum swing. We have to be willing to make sacrifices in order to disrupt systems of oppression and turn the walls into bridges that will empower oppressed groups to become authors of their own narratives. So again, my question to you is, what are you willing to sacrifice so others can be free? I want to share a brief story because I think it sits at the intersection of this theory and action. Members of my cohort have heard a version of this story before because it was part of my racial identity statement. However, I want to share a story with each of you from my 4th year of teaching. At the end of the year, I took my class of energetic second graders on a field trip to the zoo. It was very crowded that day, so my kids and I had to wait in line in order to see the hippos at the new underwater viewing area. When a spot finally opened up so that one of my kids could go stand on the ledge to get a better view, a white woman put her hand on the shoulder of my black student and physically pulled him down. She then proceeded to raise her child under the armpits and lift him up so that he could have that elevated spot on the ledge to access that better view. Just like in a movie, a fast montage of scenes from my own life spanning all the way back to my childhood played on the screen of my mind. In an instant, all the demonstrations of discrimination, manifestations of microaggressions, remembrances of racism, and pains I have felt through the world consistently communicating to me that some things were off limits just because of the color of my skin were all presenting themselves in this moment. These snapshots played in living color for what felt like an eternity as I watched this white lady telling my black student through her actions that he was not deserving. In a split second, I had a decision to make: speak or remain silent. After some very stern, harsh, and carefully selected words on my end, which definitely raised the eyebrow and dropped the jaws of my students, my student got his spot back on the ledge, and actually the entire area around me cleared out, and all of my students were able to get a permanent spot on the ledge to best see those hippos. For many reasons, this is one of the most powerful experiences that has shaped who I am as an educator, specifically a black educator who teaches predominantly black and brown children. Like I said, I had a decision to make: speak or remain silent. What was I willing to sacrifice so that others could be free? Choosing to be silent in the face of oppression is a selfish choice. When we remain silent, we choose to hold on to power in efforts to protect ourselves. However, the unintended consequence of silence too often is the oppression of someone else. So I chose to speak, and I spoke strongly. I can't remember exactly what I said, but honestly, that doesn't matter. I think it was more about the way in which I said it. I think my body, my tone, and my presence communicated more than the words themselves. I think I communicated a feeling that could not be ignored because it was territorial, and it was clear I was not backing down. In choosing to speak, I sacrificed my professionalism that comes with the title of teacher in a very public way in order to redeem the humanity of my student. So again, my question to you is, what are you willing to sacrifice so others can be free? As I come to a close, I'm resisting the urge to send you off with some uplifting, inspiring message. I could do that, but since this ending is simultaneously the beginning of the real work, it feels inappropriate to end this way. So I ask each of you in this moment to embrace our courageous conversation norm, expect and accept non-closure, and I will simply leave you with the question, what are you willing to sacrifice so others can